again. All right, let me turn this off before they mute my video. We're not doing that. Um, Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, author, and educator, and I pray everything is well with you this morning. Wanted to jump on. Oh my gosh, I had a plethora of things that I wanted to discuss this morning because I wanted to, but I'm not going to because it would take way too long. And I have a set time inside my head that I'm not going to let any of my videos go over. And so I'm going to choose one. And it's funny. Let me just say this. One, I pray everything is well with you. And before we get really into this, I am on the HAPS, my HAPS app. So I'm on multiple platforms. So I may not be able to see all of your comments. So I need you to, on whatever platform that you're watching, make sure you at me. So when I get off and I'm going back through what I'm doing, I will be able to respond. Second, I want you to I want you to share this broadcast. And then I want you to tag, let's see. We're going to go with 3 people. Yesterday it was 2. We're going to go with 3 people. And I don't care if it's just one person watching, I'm going to speak to you. Because the goal is to get the message out. I don't know when you're going to see this. And I hope that what I say resonates with someone, but I'm talking about integrity today. And so if you believe somebody needs to hear about integrity, or if you want to kind of sneak diss them and be like, yo, you need to listen to what this brother going to say because you one of the suspect people on the planet, tag them too. I'm here for all that smoke. And what I'm going to share with you this morning in terms of integrity, it is a value staple of mine. And in doing business, it's something that I don't even think about. It's just what it is. But here's what I've learned. When you are a person of integrity, you're going to notice when other people aren't. And I got to be honest, it drives me crazy. It burns me up. And here's the thing that bothers me. If you own your situation, you own your feelings, I have no problem with that. Own it. If you are the way you are, we can agree to disagree. We don't have to see things the same way. I get it. But when you don't want to acknowledge the things that you do, or when you try to place what you do on somebody else, or when you just outright lie, long before I was a man of God, I was a straight up dude in the streets. And I'm still connected to these streets. And I'm still a straight up dude. I'm just a man of faith. And a man of faith being a man of faith teaches me to let certain things go when Lord knows I want to check them. Lord knows I want to question, like, no. I pray for them and I keep it moving. If the opportunity comes for me to say something, I'll say it. But I'm not as quick as I was years ago, where I felt I had to check every negative situation that happened. I don't do that now. And if that resonates with you, if you're in that situation, let me ask you a question. If you're that person that feels you got to check somebody when they're wrong, put a 1 in the chat room. If you're a person that you have reached that age where it's kind of like, I want to check them, but I'm not, put a 2. And the reason why I say that is because in the era of social media, you're going to come across a lot of things that can rile you up that you just can't respond to. Now, I don't know who needed to hear this morning, but I'm going to say this. And again, it is my intention, once I get off out of my clubhouse group, I come here to do my morning message, and then it's on. I have some sessions this morning, some counseling sessions, and I have some studying to do. You got to be at the feet of people who can teach you to grow your business. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing it methodically because I'm not rushing against nobody else's timetable. I'm doing my own. But I digress. Integrity for me is a part of life for me. So it's really not a choice for me. It's like breathing. because and it's not a faith thing. Yes, faith is faith is my bag. Faith is what I'm wrapped in. Everybody that knows me knows I'm a man of God. I just don't want anybody out here thinking I'm suspect. When I am old school in the belief that your word is supposed to mean something. I am old school in terms that I feel people should be able to count on you. Now, there was a time when lying was a major part of my life. I had to mature and grow into this integrity. I didn't always have it. In the streets, I did because I knew how I felt. But another part of me was living suspect, and I was out here lying to all these women that I was dealing with. So I had to come full circle with myself. That's like, I think that's the reason why I'm not so quick to say something to other people, because in looking at myself, they may be where I was. And so I just kind of stay to myself, but I leave the door open if they want to have a conversation. Because I think that's the thing that I hate. Excuse me. I hate more than anything else is people who used to be something, now that they're not, they criticize the people who used to do or are what they used to be. I got a problem with that. And you know, a lot of our church folks do that. They forget when they were sinners, as if they're not sinning now. And they want to criticize other folks for sins that they used to commit. How is the person supposed to get to a point where they don't commit them sins that they got you sticking a foot in their behind about their sins? So back to integrity. The thing for me right now is to do what I do as a counselor, as a crisis specialist, Christian counselor, as a person that people come to with their problems. And I actually ask for it. That's what bring me your pain means. Bring me your pain means bring me your problems. And my hashtag, we can fix this, is actually my mantra. I believe we can fix this. I believe that we can figure something out that can help you where you are right now. And I believe that. I created a business on it and I'm growing it organically. But the hardest part is getting people to trust. You know why? Because there's so many people out here with no integrity. There's so many people out here that when you say something to them, you can't trust what they say. And what people don't understand, and I'm gonna use myself. I'm always transparent, so I'm gonna start with me. When I catch you lying to me, it is hard for me to forget that. I can forgive it, but it's hard for me to forget that and trust you. Now, I'll do business with you because I'm not going to take. Wait, let me take that back. Depending on the business, some business I'll walk away. Depending on the business, I will honor my arrangements. I will honor my agreement, and then I'm never going to do business with you again. And I know that may cost me and has cost me plenty of money. And I have heard people say to me many times, yo, just get past that. Get over yourself. Just, get that paper. I get it. I get it. I guess that's why I'll never be the 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 figure person that some people are chasing. When I look at how much money I made over my teaching career, I've made over $2 million. I'm good. And I know what receiving that type of money can do when you lose it. So I'm good. I've had money. I don't worry. I don't stress money like that. And if you do, go get it. But no, if I can't trust your integrity, and I'm gonna tell you, depending on the loss to my family, I will walk away in a heartbeat. Because I cannot deal with someone with no integrity. And that is because of the weight that I put on myself. I want and believe that everything that I say should be counted as gospel from me. When it's about me, about what I'm going to do. When I was in the classroom, I felt it was a sin to have to lie to children if I needed to, which I didn't. And it still bothers me to this day that during 9/11, we could not tell the children that we had seen the first tower fall. And then when the second tower fell, we couldn't say anything because, again, we did not know which of these children's parents were. in those buildings. We didn't know what was going on. And so to keep peace and calm in the building, we had to just get kids rounded up and just keep them calm. And their parents were pouring in by the truckload and picking their kids up and running them home. I had even left during one of my breaks and ran and got my kids from school and took them home because I was in the Canarsie area and I lived in the Canarsie area. And that day I remember having at least 2.5 classes inside because I had a big classroom down in the basement. It was an old shop room and it held a lot of kids. And I remember we had almost 2.5 classrooms down there. And I remember one of the kids saying to me, "Hey, Mr. B, I know what happened." I was like, hey, close your mouth. Don't say anything. And I took him out in the hallway and I explained to him, I need you to be quiet. I need you not to share that information. Let me do what I do. And I remember as I stood in front of those kids telling these lies about everything's going to be okay. How do I know? You know, everything's good. I know what I saw up in my office because my office was the gym office. And I had a TV that was working. If you guys will remember, if you were in New York during 9/11, you remember that the antenna got knocked out, so cell phones weren't working. Only people with Nextel, I think, and one other phone company was working. And televisions were having a problem also. But I happen to have a television where we could see. We saw the tower go, we saw the second. And I'm sorry if I'm triggering everybody. I apologize. And so I had to stand in front of those kids and lie. And you know, it bothered me, and it still bothers me because with children, if you lie to them, it can have a very lasting effect because it shakes their faith in the people that they trust. Well, you know what? That happens to everybody. When someone that you are doing business with, or someone that you care about, or someone that you admire lies to you, or turns out not to be who you think they are, it can be devastating. My integrity does not allow me to act that way anymore. And I get it if you're that way. I get it if your grind and your hustle is about making the money. I get it if you're all about doing what you do for you, and if people just get in the way, you got to say whatever, do whatever to get it. I get it. I just don't agree with it. I don't. And then when you layer on the level of faith that I have and my belief in God, there's just some things I can't do. And it's just some things I can't say. And when I do say it, well, you better go read Psalms 51 and check out those first 20 verses of David crying to God, begging. Now, if you've never read Psalms 51, I'll let you read that. Come on back and join me. Or do that right now. Write it down, Psalms 51. And when this video is over, go read it. Come back and share with me your thoughts. Because David had screwed up. David had really messed up. And I'll tell the story of David another day. Because if there's ever proof that you got to pay a price for your sins, you better read David and understand David. I'm just saying. And we could talk about that another day. But when it comes to integrity, guys, listen to me on this one. Your yeses should be your yeses and your no's should be your no's. And in business, it is easy to get caught up because you know telling the truth might cost you money. You know telling the truth may cause you to be seen in a different look to someone that you really want to work with. Sell your soul once. You sell your soul forever. Until you put the brakes on and go, wait a minute, I got to fight to get my soul back. 37 years. Let me just say that again. I'm 53 years old. I'll be 54 in December. 37 years. I lived a life of overt sin. Overt. Did a lot of things that I am not happy with. If you read my book, From Gigolo to Jesus, I actually put that in my book. And you should pick that up. It's on my website, bravenpublishing.com. It's back there on the wall if you can see it. There it is, bravenpublishing.com. In my book, From Gigolo to Jesus, which I'm working on, I'm going to be working on the second edition. I'm going to probably take some feedback and see what some folks want to know. If you read the first one, if you read From Gigolo to Jesus, throw it in the chat room, something that you'd like to know a little bit more of. And if you've never read From Gigolo to Jesus, let me hit you with this right now. Now, brace yourself. Y'all know I've been with I have 7 children, 6 different women. Okay, hold on. That's nothing. Y'all know that I was a misogynistic whore, right? You know that. And if you don't know what misogyny is, it's just a man who don't give a F about women and it's all about himself. And I was a whore. So imagine not caring about women, but all you're doing is having sex with. But again, brace yourself. That's not it. In my book, From Gigolo to Jesus, and you can get it and you can call me whatever you want to call me, I have a chapter called Abortions and Miscarriages. I want you to pay attention. And you can say cap if you're young. You can say he's lying if you're old, but I want you to pay attention. In my book, From Gigolo to Jesus, and I don't want you to criticize me or comment about the book unless you read it. So go get the book, we can talk about it. I have a chapter, Abortions and Miscarriages. Now I'm gonna ask you real quick. I want you to put a number in the chat room and at me, please. Put a number in the chat right now of how many abortions and miscarriages you think I was a part of in my whorish days as a misogynistic whore. And if you read From Gigolo to Jesus, don't cheat. If you read From Gigolo to Jesus, just put I know, but I'm not telling. All right. If you read From Gigolo to Jesus, just put I know, but I'm not telling. But if you've never read From Gigolo to Jesus, I'm going to take a second and I want you to think about it. And I want you to put a number in the chat room. I want you to put a number of how many abortions and miscarriages you think I've been a part of. I'll wait about 3 years. I'll wait a couple of seconds. And while we're waiting, I want to reintroduce myself. I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, author, and educator. And we're talking about integrity today. And so, all right. Did you put your number in? Okay, you locked in? You good? All right, I'm going to tell you. Now buckle up, because some of you may delete my page after I tell you this number. Some of you may never want to actually talk to me again, see me again, or anything like that. And I'll understand and I respect it. You ready? Okay. As written in my book, From Gigolo to Jesus, at the time that I have written the book, I've had no abortions and miscarriages since then. But the time that I've written the book, that was back in 2010, I had been a part of 26 abortions and miscarriages in the 37 years that I was out here living my life foul. I had an era of destruction of self going on. I wasn't caring about what I was doing. So yes, when you go, yo, you could have had AIDS. Yes, I could have. I could have given myself a whole lot of things. See, that is where God's grace comes in. Yes, I did a lot of foul things. Yes, I understand the damage that it did to some of the women, to all of the women. And when you go back, and when I wrote that chapter, I wrote it with tears in my eyes, because when you write something about a negative and nasty part of your life, but you are no longer that person, but the remnant of your damage is still out there, you have to live with that. And I live with it every day. So I don't take pride in the fact that I've slept with over 400 something women. I don't take it as a badge of honor that I made it through all that and everything is good. I feel bad at the damage that I did with those. When I think about those abortions and miscarriages, that's almost 30 children that could have been on this planet. So when I hear those men that have 11, 12, 15 babies, I get it, because I was one of those men. One of those out of control, childlike man boys who was a boy in a man's body and only living with one part of his anatomy, and the biggest part wasn't using. So how do you find integrity after living so foul for 37 years? How do you find integrity? How do you become a man of integrity when integrity wasn't even in your makeup? It's because of your pain. It's because of the pain that you've inflicted and the pain that you've received. And then when God says, okay, enough is enough, you now have to go back and fix it. But when you got to go back and fix it, you got to face it. And the reason why I work with women and couples more so than men is because now I try to help the very women that I used to hurt. Now, I may not be able to go back and help the women that I hurt. I've apologized to all of them publicly and privately. And now what I do is I help women that were in the same positions that I placed a lot of those women in. because now I try to protect them and I try to help them heal. Also, I teach men when they're willing to sit down and come to the table and place their ego to the side, I help them understand the damage that they are doing to women physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Most men are scared. Most people are scared to have an abortion conversation because they know what it triggers. Most television networks, most movies stay far away from that because they know what it triggers. I put mine in a book because I own it. That's another reason why I stay on my integrity, because I now have to be all the things that I wasn't. And every day that I'm growing, every day that I'm learning, every day that I'm becoming what God has created me to be, I owe. And I wake up every day knowing I owe. Have I paid for my sins? Mm-hmm. Has that death come to my house? Yes, it did. And if you don't already know, Tiff and I lost a child when we first started dating. And I had to pay that price. And I understood it. If you read From Gigolo to Jesus, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I believe that Tiff and I lost our first child because of the sins that I had created. So hence, I understood David. And again, if you don't know the story of David, you go read David. And I'm not talking about him slaying Goliath. I'm talking about David after he got with Bathsheba. David cost 3 people their lives and dishonored a woman because of sex. So God said, really? Okay. His daughter was done dirty, raped by her brother, and then God killed 3 of his sons. So you took 3, I take 3. So I understand how God can move. And if you've never heard that side of David, that story of David, you better pick your Bible up. Because David took 3 lives and God took 3 of his children. David took a woman because he was king and she had a husband and he basically got her pregnant and then tried to lie. So God said, okay, I'm going to have your daughter taken in a bad way. And I know some of you say, what kind of God is this? Understand, listen, eye for an eye. It had nothing to do with God. God just put his hands back and said, okay, David, you want to put that into motion. Watch what happens when I'm not there to protect you. So for many of us, we have put some of those same things into motion in our lives. And when it comes back, we don't want to pay the bill. The bill always comes due. And if you've not read From Gigolo to Jesus, just go by my website, bravenpublishing.com. And if you want to delete me because you find me disgusting, if you find the man that I was disgusting, I feel you. I do too. But if you want to delete me because I just triggered you, I understand and I'm not mad at you. Because the reason why I can stand on my grind as a counselor and as a Christian counselor and as a crisis specialist is because I created many a crisis for many a woman. And now my job is to help women heal. And I'll take all the darts. I'll take all the smoke for it. You can't ask somebody to bring their pain to you and you're not bulletproof. Because they're not coming with just some light stuff. They're coming with some issues. And when you tell somebody we can fix this, they got to believe that you're willing to go all the way. Well, I'm here. And I've taken some heat. And it's well deserved. And I deserved every lash that I got. Every emotional lash, every spiritual lash, and of course, some physical lash. And I've said I'm sorry numerous times. And I apologize numerous times. That is why I wrote my book. I wrote my book so there's a testament to what I was and what I'm trying to be. And that was 11 years ago. So the reason why I'm doing the second edition is because there's been some things that I think need to be added that's going to help give you a fuller picture of who I am right now. Because my integrity to be at this point in my life came at a cost. I paid a price. And it was a deserved price because I had to pay it to be the man that I was supposed to be years ago. And I don't know who needed to hear this. And I don't know what woman watching this is going through her emotions right now when you heard me talk about abortions and miscarriages. I will apologize for the man. If he didn't, I'm sorry. Many of us had no idea. The rest of us didn't care. Yes, he didn't care. I don't care how much he told you he loved you. He didn't care because he never bothered to go and ask. Because all you got to do is just ask a group of women about abortion or miscarriage and look at their faces. And you will see why this is something that you cannot play with or even think of trying to ask a woman to do. But most men have never been taught that, ladies, so I apologize for them. I'm doing what I can to protect you, and I'm doing what I can to teach them. That's why I asked you to tag 3 people. That's why I asked you to like this. That's why I asked you to share this. That's why I say, have you read my book? That's why I counsel. If you've never seen an AA meeting or an NA meeting or a gambler's meeting, a person will stand up and say, hi, I'm Keith K.L. Belvin. I'm a misogynistic whore. And somebody will stand up and say, hey, welcome, Keith. But the people who run the meeting will say, I've been clean 20 years. I've been clean 30 years. You know why? Because an addict can help an addict. Well, I'm a former recovering whore. I am a recovering sinner. So I stand up every day to other sinners and the other whores and say, I've been good. I've been clean. Let me show you how to do that. So let me say this to anybody watching. If you have a lot of emotion on what you just heard me talk about, and if integrity is something that you struggle with or you know somebody else struggles with, or just anything that I brought up causes some type of emotion, let's get on a call. Let's get on a call and let's sit down and talk. And let's get together and figure out what we can do together to fix those feelings. Because those feelings of the past don't have to dictate your right now. And it doesn't have to shape your future, but it will. What I do is hold the mirror up so you can see what I see. And then together, we're going to figure out a way to fix what's going on. Can I replace what was done back then? Yes. But I can't remove it. It's a part of our lives. Our history is our history. But if we can change our right now, we change our what will be. We cannot change what happened. And what I do is I go back into your past to get the information and bring it forward. I don't go back into your past and bring the pain. The pain is already here. I don't need the pain. I'm going to show you how to let that go because I had to learn how to let it go in my life. Shout out to my wife and God. If it wasn't for my wife and God, I would not have a seat at the table. That's actually going to be a book that I'm writing because I think folks need to know how I got here. And I got here because of my wife and God. I would not have the 2 master's degrees that I have if it was not for my wife and God. So what I am saying to you as a man of integrity, let's get on a call. Let's talk. Let's figure out how I can help you move forward. Or if you know a man that needs this, tag him right now. Tag him right now and say, yo, you need to listen to this, bro. You need to sign up and talk to him right now. And if I get enough, I'll set up a group call. Won't even charge anything. I'll do it for free. If I get 10 men who want to actually try to change their lives, I'll set up a group call right now for free. And the reason why is because that's how serious I am about the changes that are necessary. Because if I can change 10 men, I have now changed 10 families and possibly protected at least 10, if not more women, and possibly multiple children. But ladies, don't think that I'm not here for you because you are actually my focus. My primary person is a woman in her 40s. Her name is Tina. And I think about her when I do what I do. Now, if y'all haven't figured out, Tina is actually my mom's name. And when I'm out here trying to help the women that I help, it is because I'm thinking of the help that my mother needed. That's also my driving force because my mother is gone. She passed June 25th, June 25 last year. And I was here in Delaware and she was in New York. So I wasn't able to be there when she took her last breath. Unfortunately, I was on the phone when she took some of her last breaths. So to her, I owe all the women who have sons who couldn't use their sons and all the women out there who are trying to figure it out. I need to be there for them. So I'm here for you, ladies. Just reach out. We can get on a call too. And if you just want me to listen while you rant and rave at that dude, I'll do that. And then I'll take the mic and say, let me show you what we can do to heal that. All right? So if this has been of value to you, put a 1 in the chat room for me right now. And like this, share this, tag 3 people, let them know why they need to listen to this. And this is what I do. Why? Because I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, award-winning author, educator, and more importantly, man of God. I'm also a man of high integrity, a man of faith, and a man who has no problem laying himself out for you to throw whatever darts you want. I'm good. I want all that smoke. Why? Because I ask every day, bring me your pain. And that simply means bring your problem to me. Why? Because we can fix this. I believe that. And the reason why I believe that is one, my faith, and two, I have seen it work. But I cannot help what I do not know. I cannot fix what you don't allow. So if you're going to suffer in silence, no one can help you. But if you're brave enough to reach out and say, Keith, I need some help. And as my coach, Glenn P. Brook Jr. says every day, we all need some help. And I believe that. So reach out. I'm here. I'm going to get off today. I got to make some breakfast, and then I got a couple of counseling calls today, but I'm here for you. Ladies, couples, let's talk. Men, I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to beg you. And ladies, if you got to beg him to listen to me, stop. He's not ready. Make the suggestion. Say, hey, why don't you listen to this dude? Why don't you hire that dude to talk to you? Ladies, you might have to come and work with me, and I can show you how to get him to come to the table. Let's be real. Men don't even want to go to the doctor. You think they want to come and actually have their brain analyzed, their feelings analyzed, their spirit analyzed? Ooh, now you're talking. So you might have to come and work with me first, ladies. And then we can bring your boyfriend, your husband, your baby daddy, whoever to the table. And we can have this conversation. Because the damage is there. The losses, the collateral damage is going to be there. And you got to know how to deal with it. And trust me, I have dealt with it. Shout out to God. Shout out to my lovely wife, Tiffany. And again, to any woman that I have ever hurt, any child of mine that I have not been the father that I was supposed to be, I am sorry. I say it publicly so you can never say you didn't hear it. And again, I pray that somebody will share this with you. To all of the mothers of my children that felt that I did them dirty, regardless of what you did, I'm sorry. Because it starts with me. I can't fix what you did. I can only live with it and go forward and be a better man because of it. So again, to any woman that felt triggered by my abortion and miscarriage comments, I'm sorry if you were triggered because I know it's a very sensitive situation. I'm built to deal with it, but I also understand what that does for our sisters. So if I have made you feel uncomfortable this morning, that was not my intention. I am sorry, but I had a point to get out. And if you need to talk to me about it, or if you want to write me and just say that it made you feel some type of way, please do. I will pray for you, and I'll pray with you if you like. info@bravenconsultants.com if you want to send me an email. And if you just want to send me an email cursing me out, go ahead. I'm not going to stop that. We have to get past all of that to get to the real healing anyway. So again, I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, award-winning author, educator, and man of God, and I am going to sign out. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Please like this. Please share this, and I will talk to you soon. God bless, guys.